Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's good to have you guys back here to the channel. So for today's tutorial, we're going to be making this slip shape bag, and for the design I'm going to be using an A4 paper. So the measurement of the A4 paper is a 9 inches by 12 inches. So this is me trying to just get the middle by folding it into two, then I'll fold it into two again, so that is in 4 places. So if you are not using an A4 paper, you could just use your tape to get the middle. So just make sure you get the middle and you make your marking. So after I got the middle, I'll open it up like this. So now after I open it up like this, I am just going to start making my measurements. I'll start drawing out the design of the bag. So from this middle, I went down by half of an inch, and I also went out 1.5 inches. So I'm just going to make a curve like this to give it that curvy shape. Now from this middle, I am just going to use my free hand. If you have a curve ruler, you could use it. So I'm just using my free hand to just make a curve. Then from this other side, I'm just going to make a curve to connect the lines like that. So after doing that, that is basically everything about our measurements. So the next thing you're going to go ahead and do is to cut it out like this. As you can see, our shape is already coming in place. So you could use a chipboard, you could use a carry board, you just draw out your pattern, but I am not using a carry board today. I decided to use a leather material. This leather material is called a double-sided material leather, and it is very thick. So if you have this kind of leather in your surroundings, you could actually try using this kind of leather, because if you're using this kind of leather, you don't have to use any stabilizer, you don't have to use Marco, you don't have to use chipboard, you don't have to use carry board, you just only need to use only the leather. So after I have already cut out my first pattern, I am going to be measuring 1 inches all round of my actual pattern. I wanted to use 1.5 inches before, but I saw that it was too much, so I decided to use 1 inches instead. So I'm just going to measure that 1 inches all round, then I'm going to cut it off. Now after I have already cut it out, I am just going to go and trace it on that same identical leather. So since you are not using any stabilizer, you just need to cut it out on this same actual leather. So after we've cut out on the same actual leather, the next thing I'm just going to go ahead and do is to you know gum this front face with another different leather. I am using black, so I want it to be both side black. So I have this beautiful shiny black leather material that I bought from the market, so I'm just going to use it as the face the face of the bag. So unlike other design that we used to do, that we used to give half inches for folding it in, this time around we will not be giving any allowance. We'll be cutting it straight. We'll be cutting it directly on the edge. This is because I am going to be putting something to cover the rough edges at the end of the tutorial. So I'm going to be showing you what you're going to use to cover the edge of your bag, so that it will not be showing rough edges when you are done stitching. So after cutting, this is what we have. So the next thing we're going to go ahead and start doing is to work on the zipper panel. So this is how it's going to be on each other. So in order for you to get the measurement for the zipper, you will just measure this inside round like this. So any inches you get, make sure you are adding 2 inches. Now this is going to be serving as extra allowance in case you made a mistake when measuring, and it will also serve as stitching allowance. So this is what I have cut out. The width is 4 inches, and the total length of what I got. So in order for me to determine how long I want the zipper, I just measured both ends. I came down by 3 inches and I just measured it. So and it gave me 8 inches. You could make it bigger than that. So in order for me to get the middle, I decided to fold this my mid panel into two, and I'm going to mark 4 inches on both side. So mark 4 inches on this side and make a straight line. Then I'll go ahead and mark 4 inches on the other side as well. So I have divided that 4 inches into two like this. Please, I just hope you are paying attention to what I am doing here. 4 inches on this side as well. Make a straight line and divide the width into two. Now when I divide the width into two, I'm just going to make a straight line marking. Now from that straight line marking, that I'm just going to go out by one 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 one. It's not 1 inch, just one extra line on both sides. I just hope you understand what I'm doing. The width of the zipper I actually want is to be around 1 centimeter. Yes, the total width should be around half centimeter. If you are using your tape for inches side, make sure it is one line when you measure your one line in, one line out, so that it will just be as tiny as this. I think half centimeter is fine. So guys, after making the opening for your zipper, the next thing you need to do is to start fixing your zipper. But make sure you put the runner first before you put the zipper. And while putting the zipper, make sure you're putting the zipper inside, then you are stitching on top like this. So this is how it's going to be when you stitch it. So after stitching, you cut off any excesses. Please don't cut it to the edge, and make sure you stitch it properly so that it will not be poking out on one side. So the next thing you're going to go ahead and do is to join the sides together. Like I said, add 2 inches for allowance. It is better for it to be much than for it to be too small. So stitch it like this. One side should be inside and the other side should be on top, so that it will be easy for you to top stitch it, since it is a very thick leather. So you make your notches on both sides, then you make your notches on this inner side. Now this is just me trying to make sure that if I stitch it, it is the black that is going to be outside, to avoid any mistake. You know, it is leather, and any stitch you stitch on a leather, if you lose it, it will become a permanent stitch, and we don't want to make a mistake here, because if you make a mistake like right now, you just need to just like cut another one. So I'll just go to my sewing machine and stitch. So guys, I'm going to carry you along on how I actually made the stitch, so that you'll be able to see how to stitch something like this. This is like not the like kind of usual corset I used to make. So I'm just going to carry you guys along so that you'll be able to see how to sew this kind of side. And please, while stitching, try as much as possible not to drag any of the parts. It is leather, it is synthetic leather, and it is kind of stretchy. So if you drag any part of the leather, I'm so sorry for you, you end up having and not right dimensions, like one side will be longer than the other, and you would have to maybe lose, or you think your measurements are not correct, but your measurements are correct. It's because you drag it, that's why you are having that problem. So please make sure you don't drag any of the parts. So guys, after stitching one side, you just go ahead and stitch the other side the same way you stitched the first side. So after stitching, this is what we have. Trim off any excess where necessary. Now the next thing we're going to go ahead and do is to start working on the handle. So this is a hose right here. We use it for handles. So I just measured it round and I got around 1 inches. So I'm just going to be cutting my fabric at 3 inches, so that 3 inches or 2.5 inches, so that when I eventually sew it round, I'll be able to poke it inside. So the holes, I am cutting it at 12 inches, and the leather I cut it at 15 inches. So I'm just going to be measuring 1.5 inches on both sides. That is going to be where I will not stitch to or from. So when I stitch it and when I poke my holes in, that space will serve as where I'm going to be sewing on the back. So after I stitch, this is what I have. I'm just going to insert my holes inside, and I'm just going to make a markings on the handle where I want the handle to be. So there's no particular measurement. I just went down from the top, this pointy top, by 2 inches, and I made a straight line from that top straight line. As you can see the line, but I'm just going to make the line again so that you see it. So I'm just going to make a straight line, and that will just serve as a guide, so that while I am stitching, I will know where I am stitching, where exactly I am stitching. So I'm going to take you through the process of stitching as well, so that you'll be able to see how to stitch this kind of handle. So after stitching, this is what it actually look like. So the next thing I'm just going to go ahead and do is to couple the bags together. If you have um a super glue, it's called a super glue, please try and use a super glue here, so that your bag will not move, and you will not end up having maybe excesses or less. But I am in my territory, and I am feeling myself, and that's why I did not use any kind of gum, and I just decided to just stitch it like right away. But I would advise you use gum so that you will not make any mistake. Like I said, like right now, if you make any mistake, you just have to just cut another bag. So this is like everything about this bag. Thank you guys for tuning into the channel. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming back. And if you are tuning into the channel for the very first time, you are highly welcome. I hope you learned something from this tutorial, and I hope you subscribe to the channel and also click on the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I post in new tutorials. And I also hope you'll be able to share these tutorials, say something nice in the comment section, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up. So this is like everything about this bag. So trim off any excesses, like the secret I said I was going to show you guys. So after trimming off the excesses, this is a sham paper. I'm just using it to file up the edges to make it equal as possible, but please make sure you trim off the excesses before you use that sham paper, so that when you are trimming, when you are filing the edges to be smooth, you will not have any. I mean, so this is a shoe dye, also known as shoe coat, depending on the environment you are. So I got it in black. So I'm just going to be using it to rub all the edges so that that white thing that is showing will not be showing. So this way it will not be leaking my secret. So like I said, guys, thank you for tuning in to the channel, and this is the final look of the bag. Isn't it lovely? So say something nice in the comment section, and that will also give me a thumbs up. Please do as to share this channel to your loved ones, and see you guys in my next tutorial. Bye.